Welcome to the Media Bolt podcast, where we talk all things content creation. So no matter if you're filming with a big budget cinema camera or just your cell phone, we're here to provide you with practical knowledge for the next time that you press record. On today's episode, I've got a business owner of a video production company out of Waukesha, Wisconsin. I got none other than my man, Derek Pfister with Chair on Stair Films. How you doing, man?
Thanks for having me, man. It's great to be here, and I'm excited to talk to you about the creative industry here in Wisconsin.
Awesome, man. Yeah, we've connected for a while and finally getting to meet each other in person, so this is cool.
Yeah, this is awesome. I'm glad to be here, and thanks for having the time to bring me in.
For sure. First thing I want to kind of ask you is filmmaking. Why'd you get into it? And then if you want to just tell us a little bit about how your company was kind of created and how this kind of came about, Chair on Stair Films, and where you guys are at right now.
Yeah, to make a long story short, it started with a video project that my brother did back in high school, all the way back in 2001. And I came across it on his old VHS tape, and it was an old project that he did for his media class where they would pretend to go to the movie theater and see the top movies of today. But it really wasn't that. It was like a lot of the older films that they really enjoyed, like Indiana Jones, Last Crusade, stuff like that, and Days of Thunder with Tom Cruise. And they would pretend to show a clip of the movie and then review it, but it was really just them acting the movie scene out in a comedic way. And I just kind of fell in love with that, showed it to my friends, and they also thought it was hilarious. And we ended up just grabbing one of those old JVC cameras that filmed on VHS and just kind of took our own crack at it and made our own skits and everything. And we showed them around to a lot of people. They thought them were funny. They thought that we did a great job trying to mimic other movies and scenes and stuff like that. And it kind of grew from there throughout high school. And I started to take it a little bit more seriously because people were saying, you do this as a career. You could make this your career once you're in college and beyond. And I'm like, awesome. So I got involved in screenwriting competitions with Milwaukee International Film Festival, now Milwaukee Film. And my first screenplay that I wrote ended up making like the top 50 in the competition out of 100. And it just kind of took a whole nother step, like, wow, I could actually do something and be one of these people who make movies and just be involved in the community. And it just kind of became a thing throughout college, and I became a filmmaker at that point. And Chair on Stair Films was what my brother did. Like, his production name was Chair on Stair Films, and it just kind of came out of nowhere, where they're like, we need to think of a production name. So they actually saw like a yellow chair sitting on a set of stairs, and they're like, that's kind of unique. Let's use that. So, and for whatever reason, when I was a kid, I thought that was such a unique name, and I fell in love with it. And once I got in high school, I was still using that name, but I gave it meaning, because before it really didn't have like a huge meaning. And I loved it because it does have meaning. It means pretty much that you can get simple ideas from the most oddest of places and turn them into huge ideas. And sometimes those huge ideas don't have to be so complicated. And you got to think of ideas from the most unusual places, because you want to make your stuff different than everybody else's.
For sure.
So, and I just love that. And it was Chair on Stair Productions, but I changed it to Chair on Stair Films. And here we are 20 years later, still using that name.
Look at that. Look at that. Yeah. That's awesome. So can you just tell us a little bit about what you guys do, the type of work you do? Maybe you can just go over, there's a couple things we'll talk deeper on a little bit later.
Yeah, 100%. So we started out just doing weddings, but I knew we could do more because weddings become a lot. There's a lot of work that goes into it. But we also like to help out businesses. We want to help businesses grow because a lot of people helped us grow and they were part of their own business. So we want to do the same for them. And with our ability to create film and use that artistic aspect to help them grow through business, like to showcase what they can do, their voice, all that, we kind of turn that into our full-time thing along with still doing weddings. But our ultimate passion is still filmmaking. So we always do that on the side, get involved with competitions and all that. But our ultimate goal for Chair on Stair Films is to help businesses grow through creating small ideas and turn them into big ideas. Something that might be like, oh, this could work, and saying, no, this will work. And that's what we want to do for businesses.
I love that. Being a production company owner, I think for me, one of the big things that I strive for is just helping this community of Milwaukee, Wisconsin filmmakers like grow, right? What are some things that you think that are important to help that kind of continue to grow and just build this economy here for filmmaking?
Oh yeah, definitely. So a big thing, especially right now, is building the Wisconsin incentives here as a whole state, because right now we don't really have anything. A lot of big industries aren't growing here, and there's so much opportunity here,
Mhm.
so much talent that we can use that to grow a lot of businesses just in general, because everybody has, whether it's film, art, or any of that, we can use that to grow one another and showcase, hey, you don't have to be on the East or West Coast just to do this type of work. You can
Yeah,
do it here in the Midwest as well. But a lot of it really revolves around wanting to collaborate with one another, not being afraid to do that.
for sure.
Just because you have your own brand, your own ideas, doesn't mean you can't come together as one
Hmm.
to make those ideas even bigger, just as one brand itself.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. I think with our podcast, that's one thing that is like collaboration over competition. Get to meet people because this is our network, and this is, if we want to be that big city one day, we gotta have resources with each other, and I think that really is important,
Oh
really
yeah,
important.
100%.
Something I wanted to ask you, as a production company owner. So let's say I'm someone that wants to start a production company. I've got LLCs and banks set up and all that stuff. Website's good to go. What are a few steps that you would say are important to kind of get your company off the ground and start getting clients and things like that?
A big thing is you're going to have to start doing things for free. You got to start showcasing what you can do. And a lot of people want to just jump into this already making money right off the bat, but you can't do that. You really got to volunteer to do a lot of projects for free to showcase what you can do, build your portfolio, do a variety of different projects to eventually become a reel, to really showcase your variety. So I always tell people, yes, it kind of stinks that you have to do a lot of your work for free at the beginning, but 100% becomes worth it down the road, because that's how you do start to earn money, because you draw that attention in. Once you have all that work showcased, you'll draw that attention in and you'll just continue to grow out there, because word of mouth is huge.
Yeah,
You do such a great job working with your client, you become a partner with your client. And once that happens, they'll love working with you so much, they'll mention you to somebody else, and it'll just grow from that point. And it really helped us a lot when doing that with our wedding clients, because they kept just spreading the word about what we've done, and they showed our wedding film to one another and just said, "Wow, let's talk to these guys, see what they're up to, and build a partnership." So that's something I 100% say is just, yeah, start out for free and then build up from there.
that's awesome. Yeah, it's getting out there. Another thing, getting experience, and that's a great way that you can jump in the scene, meet people, just get to work,
Mhm.
and just showcase what your voice is going to be in a filmmaking space.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
100%.
Yeah. Another question for you. Tell me about your series, The Next Frame. What that's about. I guess that's kind of up that umbrella of like, show the clients what kind of work you can do. Tell us about your series you guys have.
Sure. A great way, like, involving filmmaking is turning it into like a docu-series to showcase talent here in the state. And it kind of came off the top of my head after I was involved in another podcast where he was asking me what I was doing for a living, how I got started. And I'm like, this is actually a really great idea to kind of showcase more people instead of just talking over just an audio file. Let's showcase what people can do. And, sometimes you get ideas in the craziest of spots. So I was taking a shower and literally it came to me in that point. I'm just like, I was just involved in this podcast. We had a great conversation about my career, but what about other people? I've worked with so many people over the years that have helped me grow. I want to help them grow too. And we decided to do this idea. My team, my main guy, Brendan Adams, he's been with me since the beginning. And he and I are like, we sat down and discussed, why don't we interview a bunch of people and not just interview them, turn them into almost a movie style docu-series just about them that they can use to help themselves grow and, represent what they can do and help build in those new connections. If they're able to see what they're able to do, they'll contact you. If it was like, wow, that was some phenomenal work. They're within this area. Let's get into contact. Let's collaborate. Let's grow together. So that was kind of our whole idea behind the next frame. And we didn't really know if it was going to become big at first. We did a few episodes with a few talents that we knew already pretty well. And we showcased them, and a lot of other talents that saw that we worked with watched it and they loved it. It's like, what? you need to make this big. This is something that the state isn't doing yet. We're not seeing this around at all in this state. We know there's creatives around, but we don't know much about them. So this series, The Next Frame, which we started in 2021, I believe. Yeah, towards the middle of 2021. It just went into something we never expected. And here we are over 3 years later, still doing it. We just did 4 episodes and we're in the middle of working on them. And it's just an honor to be able to showcase this talent. And we're not making any money off of this. This is like, we want to travel around. We want to meet these creatives, get their names out there. We want them to work with people we worked with in the past. Yeah. That's how you grow. So that's the main idea around The Next Frame. And we're still working on the journey and we don't know where it's going to lead, but it's been fun and we're here for it.
You're doing great work, man.
Appreciate it.
Great work. I think it just shows where the heartbeat of your company is and where you guys' moral compass lies. You know, it's showcasing others and giving back to the other people that are, you know, really may not be getting those eyes that they deserve. And I think that's really cool, man.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Something else I wanted to ask you about is you guys are always in the 48-hour film projects. What do you like about that? What kind of rush comes from that process, and why do you decide to put yourself through that stress?
Ooh, we literally just a few days ago got off of doing one, but we've been doing this since 2011. And people ask me, "How can you stay up all night and make a movie?" And I'm like, well, because you start with something and you end with something in 2 days. It's just that adrenaline rush. Like, okay, this forces you to get a film done in such a short amount of time. Yes, it's a short amount of time, but you have something when it ends. A lot of people can't say that. It's easy enough to start a project, but it's hard to finish it because you don't really have a deadline. It's like almost a passion project. Like, yes, I put my money into this film, but it's also even bigger step to get it done in the process, especially if you're trying to hire a crew to do everything for you, especially hire post-production editors and all that to get it complete. But this competition forces you to get it done in 24 hours would be nice, but yes, 48 hours.
Yeah. So when you're building a team for that, because you don't really have much time to kind of go through the pre-production process and all that, because my understanding, they give you a prompt and you basically have to go, right? Have you learned ways to kind of assemble your team quickly and get those actionable steps happening?
Yeah, it's kind of became easier for us over the years just because a lot of the team has been with us for a long time. We've gotten a few new people over time, but it always becomes like, oh, if somebody's not available to do it, I want to find somebody new to help out because it's part of the filmmaking process. Everybody has their part and everybody has their creative aspect to make a project possible. And for us, it's always been kind of like, oh, we need to find a new makeup artist or something like that. And because of how many creatives are within the state of Wisconsin, it's actually pretty easy to find a lot of this talent. And it's all about reaching out. You literally got to reach out to somebody. And there's so many groups like on Facebook, for example, the Wisconsin Filmmakers Group, that if you just post something on there, like saying you're looking for a makeup artist, a composer, an editor, to say that you're looking for, explain what you're doing, they'll reach out immediately because everybody around here is looking for work. Everybody's looking to showcase themselves. So it's all about reaching out to different creatives on social media because that's become huge now. When we were kids, this wasn't around, but now we have so many tools at our hand that we can work with to make connections so much easier. That's just a big thing. Just reach out. If you're looking for work, you're looking for help, reach out online. People will come right to you, and that's how you build connections.
For sure, 100%, 100%. What else within that? Is there anything that you dislike or that makes you pull your hair out and get stressed out during that 48? Is it just other than the time? Because obviously that's always you're up against the line on that. Is there anything else that's always like a big challenge?
Yeah, especially the end. There's that time crunch. You think you have enough time towards the end. You think you have your film finished by 1 p.m., but it's due at like 7:30. But things always come up. Mm-hmm. You're gonna watch that movie. You're gonna notice something. We actually just went through that a few days ago. Sadly, I made a mistake where I forgot to include the line of dialogue that was required. Why? Because I was shortening a scene down that was over 3 minutes long. The film can only be 7 minutes. Mm-hmm. You have 7 minutes to tell a story, but this scene was 3 minutes. And I was so focused on tearing that thing down, the line of dialogue just went right over my head. And because of that, I don't believe our film is going to be eligible for the awards, which is fine. I'm just happy we were able to complete a film. And those are the things you really got to like pay attention to. And it's something that we learned. I mean, it took me 13 years to make that mistake.
Yeah.
So here I am learning something new once again, knowing what to do next time. So it's always that stress level towards the end, making sure you have all those things that you need to have in the film be there to be part of the awards and be eligible for the main winner of the competition.
For sure, for sure. I think this will be a good conversation with us. You know, we're both production company owners and have a process, and a lot of times, you know, solopreneurs or, you know, DPs or just audio people, they just kind of come in last minute, work on the production. But I'd like to ask you, tell us a little bit about your process, you know, pre to shooting to post, like how that kind of works for you and your team. Where does the idea get sparked? And then how do you guys kind of iterate on that and start building out something bigger and lead to actually finishing a project?
Definitely. It really starts with like one of us just kind of reaching out to one another. Like either somebody, like a client reaches out for a business saying, hey, I need this promo made. I need this interview made. It's either myself or Brendan who hears about this. And then we just kind of meet together. It doesn't have to be somewhere big, just at a coffee shop. We'll just meet together because both of us have our own lives. So it's like, we'll find a time to meet together at a coffee shop, discuss, hey, somebody reached out to me about this. How are we going to make this happen? I like this idea. Let's expand on that type of thing. And then we'll bring our ideas up to our client. We'll either do a phone call or we'll meet them with him and her in person and discuss it. And it just grows from that point. We'll decide on a date, but it really comes to that constant communication with one another. So, and it's just about, communicating. Don't say, oh, my idea is better than yours, that type of thing. Try to work it out together. So we're in constant talk with our client to make it happen with one another. Yes, that seems like that's a lot of calling, but that's how the project becomes the way you want it to be. Your vision is made by that communication with one another, meeting up and just working together as a team. And it is about teamwork. Yeah, yes, they're our client. Yes, that's the project at hand, but I want to work and learn also from our clients, and hopefully they learn something from us as well. And we just kind of build that throughout the whole entire process through pre-production, production, and post.
Mm-hmm.
So,
what's your favorite part of the process out of the three?
definitely filming.
Yeah,
I do more editing than filming, but when it comes to being able to be out and about filming instead of being at the computer all the time, focused in on that screen, I just love seeing things. I love seeing ideas being made and everything. As much as I do love editing, I like making the project become something. It's just fun to be out, to be able to like, pull out the camera and start filming, get the lights set up, everything. And I just find a joy in that because it's just about the experience.
Yeah. That's like the game day experience, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially.
There's nothing better than when you put all the work in and some small idea becomes this like thing that you're seeing happen in real time.
Mm-hmm.
Musicians must get that feeling similarly when they perform on stage or something, but
Exactly.
that's our arena, right?
It really is, yeah.
Yeah, so why is it important to build structure within your teams? I know like, and I can tell with you guys, you have a good process, so no matter what, you know, is going on, you can fall back on that to get a project done. And I'm sure it helps tremendously in the 48-hour projects, but just in the everyday things, being able to like make a call or, you know, if you need a resource, how easy that is and why is that important? And I know you've been in the game for a long time and know a lot of people, and just talk about why you need that.
Yeah, I mean, it's always good to have options. I mean, yes, when it comes to somebody not being able to help you out because they're busy or they got something going on, it's always good to know those connections to be able to bring them in because, hey, maybe they have something more they could contribute than the previous person.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always about just having like a backup plan, just thinking ahead, saying, okay, these people could work perfect for helping me out create music for this project. I got them in mind. I got them in the back of my head to go back to. It's just about, yes, you want one main person possibly to help you out, but it's always good to have in the back of your head, these are a few people. And then that way you can keep the project going, it can flow properly, and it can still get done on time. Yeah. And it's just like what I've been saying, just reaching out and talking to them and just meeting up a lot. It's about meeting up a lot, and which is great because it's fun.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, meeting new creatives is, I think, been one of the biggest joys of my filmmaking life. Thus far this last year, getting to like sit down with people like you that I'm meeting for the first time, or people that I've watched their work for a long time and getting to sit in these chairs. And this is our version of a coffee shop. You know,
There you
maybe
go.
we'll add coffee into some of the next episodes, but it's just it's so important to make those connections. Do you have any tips on, growing your community, growing your network that you can share?
Yeah, it's to grow as a community, you really just got to get the word out. And and luckily nowadays we do have the ability to do that
Mhm.
with the idea of social media, using it in the correct way, not in the wrong way. The correct way is literally just telling the good, mentioning people's names out, showing their information, how to contact them. It's all about that. And stuff like Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff is just so helpful, especially LinkedIn too. There's so many connections that I've gotten through LinkedIn opportunities by just posting on there, reaching out, showcasing what you can do. And it's just really about that and doing it in the right way, not in the wrong way where you're just bragging about something you did or what you can do.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
about saying, I need help and I want to work with people.
yeah.
So, yeah.
What challenges do you see coming along as a filmmaker, or really as a business owner of a production company, with just the advancements of technology and things that you kind of see on the horizon coming?
Yeah, we're in the stage, I feel, in the filmmaking world where we got to kind of continue to educate ourselves. If you went to film school or any type of school to learn media, it's one thing what you learned back then, but in today's society, everything's constantly changing. Everything's getting upgrades, all that. So it's always about like keeping up to date with, say, if you were using a certain brand of camera, like Sony, for example. That's what I use a lot. So I'm always keeping up with what they're doing, the new tech that's coming out. So because that's also a new way to learn. As a filmmaker, as a creative, you're never going to know everything. You're always going to continue learning. You're always going to be a student. And when somebody tells me like, "Oh, I've been in the business for so and so years. I've done this. I'm ready to go. I'm top notch. I can do everything." I'm like, "No, you can't, because we're always going to be learning something new. You're always going to do a different part of a project on set, or have a different title on set. Like just recently, I did have a different title. I was a grip. I never was a grip before, and I always hired grips to do that part of the job. But when Brendan and I took that role on a film, it was awesome because I learned a lot from it. And that's a big thing, is always taking that opportunity to take that next step in your skill set, is taking a risk to learn something new.
Mhm. Man, that's awesome. Yeah, this filmmaking thing, I think why I've been so just in love with filmmaking and the passion is just like that feeling you're constantly learning. You're a lifelong learner. I think a lot of times people get stagnant in the things that they're doing because you kind of hit that ceiling of, okay, I've got as much knowledge and this industry is not changing much, but we are in like the fastest moving industry there is. So it's a lot of fun, and I take pride in like, learning those things, whether it's on YouTube late night or digging into blogs and things like that. And can you just talk about, I mean, you kind of mentioned, but the importance of like things are going to change whether you want to or not, and it's up to you, and as a business owner, it's up to us to kind of make sure that we're moving along with that change current.
Yeah, it's just so important because I mean we do have so many tools at hand. Like you just mentioned, YouTube.
Yeah.
You can learn how to do a lot of stuff in filmmaking school or just film school in general off of that, and then just kind of, because so many people out there want to educate one another. That's why they put those videos out. So I also try to pay attention to that. If there's like I have a question about a specific piece of tech on my camera, I look it online and with people I trust, because it's just right there at us, and you just got to take that chance to look.
Yeah.
You got to have that enthusiasm to want to do that, instead of like being maybe stubborn, saying, I'll figure it out eventually." I'm like, no, I mean, you got to ask for help.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how we grow.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I think the crux of what we do is storytelling,
Hmm.
right? So I know it's tough. A lot of times people get so locked into gear or locked into lights or, the newest firmware updates and this and that, but it's really all about telling a cohesive
Hmm.
story that's engaging. What's some of the things that you kind of do? Do you have any processes on that, or focus is when you start to, build a story that that kind of work?
Yeah, I mean, storytelling is the biggest thing in filmmaking. If you don't have a good story, then nobody's going to want to view it. Yes, it may look pretty. You could have the best gear out there, best lenses, everything to make it look so top notch. But if it doesn't have a good story in it, it's like, what's the point? So when it comes to the storytelling process, you got to really look at it saying, okay, you got to start it out big. Like, well, why is this important? You got to show your subjects. You want to get them out there right away. Or even if it's a product, you want to showcase, boom, you want to get it in their faces right away. Because in today's society, a lot of people's attention spans are very short, especially with like, oh, I just want to know the answer right away. So with a lot of storytelling now, you just want to get it started out strong, get the message out there pretty good, and then end it strong, kind of put it all together. That's huge. Even if it's a wedding film, you want to start out with, okay, their beginning, middle, and to where they end, where here they are now together as a couple. It's with that with any project. So that's the way I think about it. I got like a beginning, middle, end. I got to start out strong, continue being strong, and end it even stronger.
For your company, do you have any things that you see coming up next, or any iterations that you're looking to kind of embark on?
No, it's hard to think. Like, I take one day at a time nowadays.
Yeah.
I'm like, I have these ideas. I'm like, with the next frame, for example, I would love for it to be big, to become like a continuous thing. We're still growing. That's just part of it. But I would love to see that be a yearly thing where it's seen by so many people, just not within Wisconsin, but outside, to know that, okay, you can make films in the state of Wisconsin. And I want to draw people from outside states here. And doing the next frame, I hope, is doing that to say, hey, this talent's here. Come on here, work with us.
Yeah.
So you don't need to be dragged out to a different state to do that if it's on the West or East Coast. But I want that to happen. I want the films to be made here. I want it to be a big industry because there's so much talent. You've seen the talent. You brought it right here on your show. So we're all here. Mm-hmm. So that's one of my big goals. For me as a business owner, I just want to help continue growing other people's businesses through our creative skill. Do I see us becoming like this big time business? No, I don't know if I ever see that, but you never know. But my goal right now is just to continue helping one another out and grow as a community.
Yeah, for sure. What do you hope for our filmmaking community of, in Wisconsin, things that can happen? And are there any things that you're actively doing to kind of participate in that change?
Yeah, like literally the 48-hour film project is doing that. We just had over 40 teams make a film in 48 hours. And that's just insane. And it used to be Milwaukee and Madison, but a few years ago it split up to just being, or it came together, that is, as one. So now it's the Wisconsin 48-hour film project. So instead of being in separate locations, we're all coming together as one community to showcase what we can do. So it's just so much talent coming together as one. And that's just awesome to see. And just being able to showcase, hey, I made a film in 48 hours. We did this, that, and got it done. That says a huge thing. And another big thing is, yeah, these films are made in 48 hours, but they're also going to the big time film festivals to say, hey, these films are being made here in Wisconsin. They totally can be done here. Mm-hmm. I'm part of one of those films that's going to the Cannes Film Festival next month. And it's going to be a huge blessing being able to go over there and to see all these people at the Cannes Festival in France to say, hey, this movie you just saw, this was made in Wisconsin in the United States. This is where all that talent is. And hopefully that'll draw a lot of attention to what we all can do here.
Nice. I'm going to hit you with a Media Bolt lightning round of questions. All right?
All right.
Just answer real quickly. First thing that comes to your mind. Yeah. All right, here we go. Favorite camera body?
I'm going to say FX6 right now.
I like that. I'd say the same thing. Yeah. Love that camera. All right. Favorite project that you've worked on in the last year?
Next frame.
Next frame. Nice. All right. One more. This one's off the top. Coming up with this one. What is your favorite camera lens or company that makes lenses?
DZO Film.
Okay.
I just started using them and I'm really happy. Otherwise, can I say one more?
Yeah, for sure.
Believe it or not, Tamron.
They make a budget friendly workhorse. That's what I call it.
Yeah, it makes it. The images are just beautiful out of them,
Yeah.
and that's why I love them. They're budget friendly and everything. So
Yeah, the DZOs I really like. We were like basically going back between them and the new Nisi Athena Primes.
Sure.
And we just kind of did this juggling act for a
Mhm.
while, and we eventually went with the Athenas. But
Nice.
yeah, those are sweet too.
Awesome. I would love to try some Sigmas. I haven't been able to try them yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, see how they are.
I think the lens I really wanna love to mess around with some of those Cook lenses. They just look so sweet.
It's one thing about our industry, right? It's so dang expensive. We want to get all these tools, but there's just like thousands of dollars. But I'm like, why do you choose the most expensive industry?
Yeah,
because it's fun. I love telling stories.
That's why you got to rent them. There's some great places like North American Camera.
Exactly.
And spots around here that you can test some of those things. Add it in the budget.
Yeah. Play around with them, see if you like them or not, and then decide if you want to get it yourself.
Exactly. I don't know. $30,000 lenses are out of my range, but
I mean, the camera bodies you and I have bought in general, like those are already thousands in itself, and then you spend even more on the lenses.
People don't get that, and I think clients, if people are ever wondering, well, why is your services so expensive, this and that, like it's expensive just to get the gear to make the thing, and then that's not even counting all of the time and the knowledge you have to gain to do it, and just the investment in oneself to make project, right?
Exactly. And that's one thing I always got to do for my clients is educate them. It's like, oh, you can film this and get it to me in like a week, right? I'm like, no. If I had nothing else to do, possibly, but I also want to take my time and make it look good for them. I want their vision to come to life. I want to take my time on it to where it tells the story that they want to be told, as well as the story that we want to be told to make them stand out. So it always becomes a thing about educating your clients too, about why everything costs the way it is. Yes, our equipment costs a lot, but it also is our time too that we're putting into it, and a lot of thought that puts into it.
Yeah. What's your hope for our Wisconsin filmmaking community going forward?
That we all work together. I think I mentioned this before about just being afraid to collaborate. I just want everybody to want to collaborate with one another. Everybody's got their visions to make possible. Yes, you don't want too many heads in there kind of going at one another because everybody's got a different idea, but I want at least everybody to be able to be willing to collaborate with one another, no matter what your style is or anything like that. Don't be afraid to collaborate. Reach out no matter what.
And where can people find Chair on Stair Films?
Sure. Go to chaironstairfilms.com. On there, you can see all of our social media options, Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff. You can find us on there. Reach out. We got our YouTube stuff as well for the next frame. It's all on there as of right now. We'll see what happens at this point. But yeah, feel free to reach out at chaironstairfilms.com.
Awesome. Well, Derek, thank you so much for coming on the Media Bolt podcast. No matter where you're watching this episode, if you could do us a huge favor, like, comment, subscribe, all those things, no matter what platform. And thank you for watching this episode. Go check Derek and his company out. I'll see you next time. Peace.
Have a good one.